The first time I heard the phrase, it wasn't in English. It came through the universal translator clipped to my collar, layered beneath a guttural alien dialect that sounded like grinding steel over broken glass. "You've got some ass talking back to me." The voice was female, cold, amused, and standing 10 feet tall. Her name was Commander Zareth Vol, Supreme Enforcer of the Carthane Dominion, the empire that had crushed 12 star systems and turned Earth into a mining colony in less than 3 months. And I, Lieutenant Elias Ward of the former United Earth Defense Fleet, was kneeling in chains beneath her warship. Earth hadn't fallen in fire. It fell in silence. Our satellites blinked out one by one. Our orbital cannons went dark. Our fleets never returned from the outer perimeter. Then their ships appeared. Massive, black, angular constructs that seemed less built and more grown, like obsidian thorns piercing the sky. We fought. God, we fought. But humanity was still learning to crawl between stars, and the Carthane had been running for millennia. Now Earth's oceans were patrolled by alien cruisers, its cities monitored by hovering sentinels. We were permitted to live, but only as labor. And resistance? Resistance was exterminated, which explained why I was kneeling on cold metallic flooring inside a Dominion command carrier orbiting what used to be the Atlantic. They'd caught me sabotaging a plasma refinery. I hadn't expected to survive the arrest. Instead, I was brought here. To her. The commander. Commander Zareth Vol didn't resemble any alien we'd imagined in our fiction. She wasn't monstrous. She was worse. She was beautiful in a way that unsettled the human mind. Tall, lithe, skin the color of burnished silver, eyes glowing faintly violet, black armor molded seamlessly over her form, alive with shifting circuitry patterns. A living weapon. And she was studying me like a scientist dissects an insect. "Human," she said, pacing slowly around me. "You destroyed 3 processing cores. You killed 19 Carthane soldiers." I didn't answer. She crouched, lowering herself to eye level. "You've got some ass talking back to me," she said softly. Her soldiers laughed behind her. The translator made it crude, but the tone was unmistakable. I looked up at her. Better than having none at all. The laughter stopped. Silence. A dangerous silence. One of her guards raised his rifle, ready to fire. But she lifted a hand. "Interesting," she murmured. Her eyes narrowed, not in anger, but curiosity. "You are aware," she said, "that defiance results in termination." "I'm aware." "And yet you continue." I met her gaze. "Yeah." I expected a blow, a shot, pain. Instead, she smiled. And that terrified me more than death. The experiment. I wasn't executed. I was transferred. Deep inside the carrier, past containment fields and armored blast doors, into a chamber filled with technology that hummed like restrained lightning. "You are not like the others," Zareth said days later, observing me through a transparent energy barrier. I was strapped to a diagnostic frame, scanning beams passing over my body. "Most humans break. Maybe you haven't pushed hard enough." She tilted her head slightly. "Or perhaps you're something else." That's when they activated the relic. The Carthane Dominion had conquered thousands of worlds, collecting artifacts from extinct civilizations. One such relic, an obsidian shard pulsing faintly blue, had reacted when brought near Earth. It responded to human biology, specifically mine. When they brought it close, I felt it, not pain, recognition, like something ancient inside my bones was waking up. Zareth saw the readings spike. Energy levels surged. Systems overloaded. The relic pulsed brighter. And so did I. The restraint shattered. The guards fired. Their plasma bolt struck an invisible field around me and disintegrated. I stood, confused, terrified, alive with power. Zareth didn't retreat. She stepped closer. "What are you?" she whispered. I didn't know, but something inside me did. The truth of humanity. The relic wasn't Carthane. It was Precursor, a species older than the Dominion, older than most known civilizations. Extinct, or so everyone believed, until Earth. Human DNA, it turned out, carried fragments, dormant sequences seeded eons ago. A contingency, a failsafe. We weren't random evolution. We were a locked weapon, and I was the key. The relic amplified that genetic inheritance. It unlocked neural pathways that allowed me to interface with Precursor technology, control energy, manipulate gravity, rewrite matter at a fundamental level. I could feel every circuit in the carrier, every power conduit, every life form. Zareth stared at me not as a prisoner, but as a revelation. "You are a threat to the Dominion," she said quietly. "Good." She studied me for a long moment. Then something shifted in her expression. Not fear, not hatred, respect. "Come with me," she said. That was the moment everything changed. The fracture. The Dominion wasn't unified. Zareth commanded fleets, but above her stood the High Imperator, ruler of the Carthane. And he had no intention of letting humanity awaken. When word spread of what I had become, orders were issued. Exterminate Earth. Immediately. Zareth received the transmission in silence. I watched her read it. "They will burn your planet," she said finally. "And you." I was ordered to oversee it. The air between us tightened. "So that's it?" I asked. All that curiosity. "And now you pull the trigger?" Her jaw flexed. "You mistake me, human." She turned to face the viewport. Earth hung below us, blue, fragile, beautiful. The Dominion values strength, evolution through conquest. And you are strength. She looked back at me. "And I will not allow it to be erased." The choice. That decision made her a traitor. Within hours, Dominion loyalists aboard the carrier attempted a coup. The corridors became battlefields. Carthane against Carthane. And me? I was no longer a prisoner. I was a weapon unleashed. I tore through armored divisions using gravity wells that crushed steel like paper. I redirected plasma cannons mid-fire. I shut down entire decks with a thought. But I wasn't fighting for vengeance. I was fighting for time. Zareth fought beside me, blades of condensed energy extending from her gauntlets. Movements precise, lethal, elegant. At one point, back to back amid burning wreckage, she laughed. "You've got some ass talking back to me," she said again, this time not mocking. I smirked despite everything. "And I didn't back down." "No," she agreed. "You didn't." The war expands. We seize the carrier. Broadcast a message. Not just to Earth. To the galaxy. Humanity was not prey. And Commander Zareth Vol of the Carthane Dominion had chosen Defiance. The Imperator responded with overwhelming force. 3 war fleets dropped from slip space above Earth. Enough firepower to glass continents. I felt them arrive like thunder in my skull. Zareth stood beside me on the command deck. "This is suicide," one of her remaining officers warned. "No," she said calmly. "It is evolution. The final battle." When the fleets opened fire, I stepped forward. The relic, now embedded within my chest like a second heart, flared to life. Energy radiated outward, wrapping the carrier in a shimmering field. I reached beyond it, into space itself. Gravity bent, light twisted. The first volley of planetary annihilation beams curved, redirected, slamming back into the Dominion fleet. Shockwaves rippled across vacuum. Ships shattered. The Imperator's flagship advanced. Massive. Ancient. Bristling with weapons older than civilizations. It fired a singularity cannon, a miniature black hole forming in its wake. I felt it pulling, felt my strength falter. Zareth stepped closer. You cannot hold it alone. I can try. She placed a hand against my back. Her armor interfaced with the relic. Energy synchronized. Two minds. One focus. The singularity collapsed, not inward but outward. A controlled detonation that ripped the flagship apart without touching Earth. Silence followed. Then retreat. The Dominion fleets fled. Lengthy ending. The new dawn. The battle ended in quiet. Not the kind that follows destruction. The kind that follows understanding. Earth remained. Scarred. Occupied no longer. Zareth stood beside me on a balcony overlooking what used to be New York City. The Carthage ships had withdrawn beyond lunar orbit, uncertain, fractured by internal power struggles. The Dominion was no longer absolute. You could rule them, she said. I don't want it. You have the power. That's the problem. For days after the battle, I felt the relic humming beneath my skin. It offered more. Deeper control. Greater reach. I could feel distant stars if I focused hard enough. But power without restraint had built the Dominion. Humanity had suffered under it. I would not repeat that. The precursor inheritance wasn't meant for domination. It was meant for balance. Zareth watched Earth's sunrise. My people will hunt me, she said quietly. Then we'll be ready. She studied me. You do not fear them. I fear becoming them. That answer seemed to matter to her. Weeks passed. Earth began rebuilding. Not as a hidden planet licking its wounds, but as a world now known to the galaxy. A world that fought back. Other subjugated species reached out. Rebellions sparked across Dominion territory. Zareth became a symbol, proof that even conquerors could change. And me? I became something stranger. Not a king. Not a god. A guardian. I traveled where needed. Disabled warships without firing a shot. Negotiated ceasefires between ancient enemies. Demonstrated strength without cruelty. Sometimes violence was necessary, but it was never the first answer. One evening, months later, Zareth joined me atop a ridge overlooking the Pacific. You are different from when we met, she said. So are you. She gave a faint smile. When I said you had courage talking back to me, I intended to break you. Yeah. Yes. And now? She looked at the horizon. Now I am grateful you did not bend. The wind carried ocean salt and distant city sounds. Human sounds. Alive. I didn't back down, I said quietly. No, she replied. You stood. There was no dramatic declaration. No forced romance. Just two warriors who had chosen something better than endless war. The relic pulsed softly. Not as a weapon. As a promise. Humanity had been tested. Not because we were the strongest, but because we refused to kneel when it mattered. And somewhere beyond the stars, the remnants of the Dominion were changing. Because one alien commander underestimated a human, and one human didn't back down. The galaxy would remember that. Not as the day Earth nearly burned, but as the day humanity stood up and stayed standing.